Hey, what's going on, guys, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to our Whistler documentary. As you can see here, we got Max, Logan, Quinn, and the man with the $1 million smile, Isaiah Edwards. Today we're going to be showing you beautiful British Columbia.
Come here. So this is root action. So as you can see, the plant is growing from up there. The roots are getting pushed into cracks, and they're growing and growing, and they're causing the rocks to expand and break away. Okay, come here. You see all these cracks and all these cracks? These are caused by frost wedging. So water gets pushed into all these little cracks, and when it freezes, it expands 9%, causing the rocks to break away. So this is what's left of what was here before. There used to be a bunch of rock here, but then it was eroded away by the 4 types of erosion: attrition, abrasion, corrosion, and hydraulic action. The 4 types erode the base of whatever's there, a cliff or any type of rock, and it starts by undercutting the softer rock, and it undercuts it so much that it creates a cave, and then after a while the cave gets so big that it can't support itself, and the cave just collapses, forming a platform that is pretty flat and smooth. This is all glacial till. It's sediment left by glaciers moving through this area. Okay? So when the glaciers melted, they left all of these rocks of different sizes.
And they've been smoothed by the water.
This right here is basalt. It's an extrusive rock. It's a very fast cooling magma, or a very fast cooling rock. It's magma that was cooled by the ocean, so the water just made it cool really fast, and that's why there's no large crystals in basalt. So yeah, it's also the main component of oceanic plates. This is granite. It's an intrusive rock. This is granite. It's a very slow cooling rock. As you can see, there's very large crystals compared to the basaltic rock right there. And it's the main component of continental plates. This is a basaltic dike. This is cooled magma that is surfaced. Okay, so it cooled under the earth. Tectonic uplift and weathering helped expose this basaltic dike. Hey guys, so today we're actually going to talk about the folding of rock due to tectonic activity. So pretty much what happens here is, let's just say we got a straight thing of rock, right? And due to some forces, there's going to be a force, we're just going to call it F1, and another force that we're going to call F2, pushing against the force, or pushing against the rock here, this rock, causing it to compress. So it's a compressive force. On this rock. And what that's going to do is it's going to cause the rock to fold, making anticlines and synclines. Okay? So this is actually an anticline right here. We're going to put a little A, and this is a syncline. So these two forces, F1 and F2, cause the rock to compress, forming anticlines and synclines. And the forces, F1 and F2, are actually made by convection currents in the asthenosphere. So this
just gonna layer this we're just gonna label this the crust right there, and this is gonna be the asthenosphere right there. And to make a compressive force like that and like that, causing synclines and anticlines, you have to have a convection current going this way. So it's gonna be going this way. So yeah, like that. And then the other one forcing it to compress is gonna be going in this direction. Just like that. So they're gonna be going around and around and around and around, causing a straight rock to compress into a smaller rock, making it curve and fold like that. And there you have it.
That over there is a headland. So it's made out of harder rock that erodes much, much slower than the softer rock that formed these bays.
Hey guys, so today we're actually going to be explaining the formation of bays and headlands. So let's just write that out right now. Bays and headlands. So basically what's going to happen is there's going to be a coast, obviously, and then there's going to be some water right here. And so the coast is going to be made out of soft rock, which we'll put in green right here. So this section right here is going to be soft rock, and then here is going to be hard rock, and we'll just put hard rock on the other side as well. So what's going to happen is the water is going to erode the coastline. So it's just going to come in and erode and erode and erode over time, and it's going to be eroded by the 4 types of erosion, which is hydraulic action, abrasion, attrition, and corrosion. And it's going to erode the soft rock faster than the hard rock. So after a while, you're going to end up with something looking a little bit like this. So it's going to start right here, it's going to go up, and then it's going to go down like that. So this is called a headland, and this is called a bay. This is also a headland, and the headlands are made of hard rock that take a long time to erode, while the bay is made of really, really soft rock that erode much, much faster than the hard rock. So there you have it. That's how bays and headlands are formed. See you next week.
As you can see, the waves are moving in. When the wave moves in, it's called swash. So the wave moves parallel to the beach. If the beach is even rounded or anything, it'll move parallel to that section of the beach. And the backwash goes out at an angle. The angle decides which way the longshore drift is going to go. So if the angle is going out this way, the longshore drift is going to be going that way. If the angle comes out this way, the longshore drift is going to go that way. Longshore drift brings sediment with it, creating spits, tombolos, and that kind of thing. Okay? When the swash, which is the waves coming in, is stronger than the backwash, it's called a constructive wave. So it brings sediment onto the beach, and it really makes more stuff on the beach. So this looks like it's more of a constructive wave because, as you can see, there's just a bunch of logs and sediment here built up from the waves coming and pushing it all in. But when the backwash is stronger than the swash, it's called a deconstructive wave, and that's when it sucks everything out. So as you can see over there, there's actually 2 logs in this little bay that would be from the the backwash sucking out the sediment logs and everything. Okay, so spits are formed when the turning radius from a headland or a coast or something like that is more than 30 degrees. So the longshore drift keeps bringing sediment all the way along until either water pressure or something like that stops the sediment from building up. Polo is an island or landform where the island, which is down there, is connected to the mainland by a spit or something like that, okay? So, sadly we can't walk out of it because the tide is so far in, which is crazy. But it's just an island, and then the swash and backwash gets wrapped around the island, bringing sediment into one specific spot, and it just keeps building up the sediment until it forms a path to the mainland. Or it can also be formed by a spit getting jutted out by longshore drift, and it goes all the way to the island, which I think is what is in this case right here.
The function of the Lions Bay Dam is to control the amount of sediment and debris flowing through the channel. The Lions Bay Dam has rocks placed in the channel along with those long strips of concrete where the water's piling over. And the purpose of that is just to break up the debris so the debris isn't all flowing down at once. It's got to go through stages. The dam itself is almost made up of 100% concrete. The only other material being used is the metal rebar to support the concrete. The dam has these huge concrete walls to support the sides of the mountain that it's been cut into, and that's so it doesn't alter the angle of repose. The Lions Bay Channel is a great example of mechanical weathering, hydraulic action to be exact. You can just see how smooth the rocks are, and that's from water constantly rushing over, slowly eroding the rocks.
This is the angle of repose on this hill. It's the naturally occurring angle at which the rocks and sediment sit at. Large amounts of precipitation can change the angle of repose.
This is a great example of orographic precipitation. Orographic precipitation is when water vapor or evaporation is pushed by prevailing winds rapidly up the side of the mountain, causing the water vapor to freeze, making rain or snow. Most of the precipitation falls on the windward side of the mountain ridge, but some of the precipitation falls down the mountain ridge. This is called the spillover. Orographic precipitation causes one side of the mountain to be much more wet than the other. This allows for lush vegetation to grow. It also causes the soil to be less stable, which may cause debris slides. The other side of the mountain is dry. A large-scale example of this is the Rocky Mountains. British Columbia is a much wetter, lush area due to orographic precipitation and has a much higher rate of landslides. The prairies, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, are significantly drier with less chance of landslides due to decrease in precipitation. This retaining wall has small little pipes on the bottom. Those small little pipes will allow water to pass through so it doesn't pool along the bottom and freeze and destruct the wall.
Orographic precipitation is when water vapor is pushed by prevailing winds up the side of a mountain, causing it to freeze. You can see the clouds are an example of the orographic precipitation. That's the water vapor being pushed up the mountain by prevailing winds. The precipitation then falls on the windward side of the mountain, causing a lush forest that you can see here. All the trees have tons of precipitation to grow from. Orographic precipitation can also cause slides due to the excess amount of precipitation in the soil. Too much precipitation in the soil can change the angle of repose, causing some kind of slide.
The Shannon Falls tourist attraction is a youthful waterfall that flows into the Shannon River. At this location, you can find everything from physical glacial features to the beautiful sights of the waterfall.
The Shannon Fall River flows through a truncated spur. At the top, you can't see it, but there's a hanging valley. Hanging valleys are formed when main valleys have been widened and deepened, causing a sudden drop-off. The smooth
caused by abrasion and a hydraulic action.
The process of hydraulic action moving rocks and gravel down a waterfall combined with abrasion, which is the action of friction between the transported rocks and the waterfall surface, causes a smooth scarp of the Shannon Falls River.
To the left is a very smooth and polished rock. The smoothness of this rock is caused by many years of abrasion. On the rock, there are striations. You can tell which way the glacier moved by the direction of the striations. In this case, the glacier has moved either from the right to left or left to right.
Glacial till is the buildup of sediment along and at the end of a glacier. Glacial sediment is found at all glacier locations. Glacial moraines are found at the end, side, or middle of glaciers. A glacial moraine is the buildup of a glacial till along a glacier, causing ridges and barriers to be formed around the glacier.
The Shannon Falls River is useful being the sediment load is low. The gradient in the Shannon Falls River is steep due to the location of it being on a mountain. The Shannon Falls River is narrow, fast, and shallow.
In a youthful river like the Shannon Falls, the water velocity is high. In the Shannon Falls River, you will find a waterfall that has been created by the properties of the youthful river. In the Shannon River, attrition and abrasion will be the most common types of erosion. Attrition occurs when the rocks and sediment that the river is carrying rub against and bang against each other. Abrasion occurs when pebbles and other sediments slowly move along the riverbank, slowly widening it.
In all glacier environments, you can find types of weathering.
The most common types of weathering that can be found at Shannon Falls includes root action, oxidation, and frost wedging. Root action weathering can be found where the root of trees grow into small cracks and lose ground, causing erosion. Oxidation is the process of chemical weathering that involves oxygen combining with other substances found in the environment. Frost wedging is a process of physical weathering in which water runs through cracks in rocks, causing rocks to break after freezing and unfreezing. British Columbia is above the subduction zone of the Pacific and Juan de Fuca Plate, meaning from as far as 1,000 kilometers from northern Vancouver Island to California, we are prone to the formation of batholiths and other physical signs of subduction zones. The Snohomish Chief is a natural forming batholith, created by the subduction zone of the Pacific Plate and the Juan de Fuca Plate under North America. The Snohomish Chief was formed many years ago by the cooling of magma under the Earth's crust, causing a large indigenous rock to form. The Snohomish Chief now acts as a tourist attraction for many, as it is climbed every day by rock climbers and hikers seeking the beautiful view at the top. Throughout the Snohomish Chief, you can see the formation of dikes. A geological dike is a sheet of rock that is formed in a fracture of a pre-existing rock formation, causing layers to form across the rock. The Snohomish Chief, like any other batholith or rock in general, experiences mechanical weathering. One of the most common types of weathering that occurs at the Chief is exfoliation. Exfoliation is a process that occurs when strips of rock faces are broken off due to weathering. The Chief has experienced exfoliation before in 2015 when part of the Chief slid off in a large rockfall.
So, this is all terminal moraine. You cannot see terminal moraine because of the water. Terminal moraine is a buildup of glacier till at the end of the glacier. It's a solid underlying bedrock that glacier passed over. As you can see, the sharp drop-off is due to plucking. On the other side of the Rausch Mountain, you can't see it, but it's very smooth and it's due to sapping and abrasion.
Just like mud cracks, columnar joints form due to volume contraction. They stretch as the lava cools fast and cracks into these distinct hexagonal. As you can see here, they're super distinct on their shapes, and they're all cracking like hexagons, which is pretty cool. As you can see here, they have these super distinct hexagonal shapes, and they continue to grow and spread. As you can see here, behind the waterfall is headward erosion and waterfall migration. It's when over thousands and thousands of years, the water starts cutting back behind the rock behind the waterfall and slowly makes a cave. Eventually, the cave won't be able to support itself and the whole rock will collapse. And it keeps on getting skinnier and skinnier by time. Do you see those lines over there? That's stacked up ash and lava. And that water is cutting back the ash and the ash gets cut back way quicker than the lava. Now I was looking back at the footage and I didn't really explain what headward erosion and all these things are, so I'm gonna do that. Now let me get a piece of paper and let's explain it. So now I will be explaining what headward erosion is. So let's write this down. Headward erosion. So we have our waterfall right here. As you can see in the video, we had that massive waterfall. Let's just say this is the shape of it. And then the water is coming down this direction and it's going like this. It's flowing into wherever it goes. Headward erosion is not going forward as you'd think. You'd think it'd be going away from the waterfall, but it's actually going to the waterfall. It'll be going this way. So when the water comes down, it's slowly eroding right here. And it's eroding and eroding, and it also is eroding right here. So as this erodes, you're gonna have a small little cave. And animals and birds and stuff like to go in that cave and live there. So this will erode and erode and erode until this cave can't support itself. So eventually this will come off and your new waterfall will be right here. So ignore this part right here. This is no longer there. It's fallen off. And now your water is coming down this way. It's coming down here like that, like that. And now it's eroding right here on the new waterfall. So it's going right there, like that. And it's eroding right there. And soon this won't be able to support itself, and then this will be gone. Now I'm going to be talking about what a youthful river is. I showed you what a youthful river is, and basically this is what it is. So in the video you've seen that really fast river that went underneath the bridge. That was a youthful river. So youthful river. So one of the characteristics a youthful river has is it has a steep gradient. That's the first thing. Steep gradient. And it's pretty clear water. It's not dirty at all because there's fast moving water. The water is very fast. And it's fast because its channels are eroding deeper than it is wider. So it's going deeper than it is wider. That's why it's really skinny, and that's why it's really fast. The fourth thing is it has very few tributaries. Now, what is a tributary, you might ask? I'll get to that after. The fifth thing it has is rapids and waterfalls. So now I'm going to be getting into what a tributary is. So let's just say this is your main river right here. This is your main river. This is a bird's eye view right here. A tributary is contributing streams or bodies of water that contribute to the main river. So this is your main river right here, and then there's a little stream right here, a little stream right here, a stream right here. That's like a little, small little lake. And these things right here, this little small stream right here, this small stream right here, this small stream right here, is what a tributary is. So now you know, these contribute to this main river, which is called a tributary. And a youthful river has very few of these. So now you know. Just because I know those two things doesn't mean I know everything. I explained what a columnar joint is, but I need to go in detail. But there's only one guy that knows that. Let me give him a phone call. Yo, bro. Can you come here and tell them what columnar joints are? You can? Alright, see you.
Hey there. My name's Robert Tide Pod Downey Jr. Today, I'll be talking to you about how columnar joints are formed, because that kid over there doesn't know how. Basically, like mud cracks, columnar joints form from volume contraction. In the mud cracks, volume decreases with drying. In lava flows or volcanic tuffs, it is cooling that drives the contraction. The columns form due to stress as the cooling, so that's why when they crack, it goes into these cool hexagonal pieces. Once the crack develops, it continues to grow. The growth is perpendicular to the surface of the flow, so that's why they look exactly like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like that. Some of them are like that. You find one on the side of Mr. Ivaka's class where all the rocks are there.